Well, now we're introduced to a very interesting situation. Admittedly, notaries don't encounter this very often, and for this reason, the procedure is not very well understood. We've stated and restated the fact that the document signer must personally appear before a notary in order for a signature to be notarized. We've said repeatedly that it's illegal for a notary to notarize a signature for someone who's not personally present at the time of notarization, and this is very true when a notary completes an acknowledgement or jurat. But if you think about it, there may be situations when a document signer is physically unable to appear before a notary. For example, someone might be leaving the state on business, yet they've been presented with a document that requires his or her signature to be notarized within a particular time frame, and it would be impossible for the signer to get to a notary public in order to complete it by that time frame. Okay, let's go through an example of how this subscribing witness process might be used just one more time here. The principal, Paul, wants to have his signature on a document notarized. Now, Paul's in the hospital, not feeling too well, and he cannot appear before a notary public. So, Paul asks the longtime friend Sue to visit the hospital and act as a subscribing witness. When Sue comes to the hospital, Sue must watch Paul sign the document. Now, if Paul signed the document prior to Sue's arrival, Paul must acknowledge to Sue that he signed the document. Then Paul should ask Sue to sign the document as the subscribing witness, and Sue must do so. This should all be pretty clear by now. If it's not, you'll want to go back in and review this video, but it should be pretty clear by this time. All right. Next, Sue must take the document to a notary public. Sue chooses Nancy Notary as the notary public. However, Sue must bring a credible witness with her to see Nancy Notary, because a notary must use the oath of a credible witness to identify the subscribing witness. Sue chooses Carl, a longtime friend, as a credible witness because Carl has worked with Nancy Notary for several years. Therefore, Carl can act as Sue's credible witness. Alright, so Sue and Carl appear together before Nancy. Nancy personally knows Carl, but of course the credible witness process requires that Sue examine Carl's identification document, in this case California driver's license, in order to legally establish Carl's identity as the credible witness for the identity of Sue. Then Nancy puts Carl under oath. Under oath or affirmation, Carl swears or affirms that Carl personally knows Sue and that Sue is the person who signed the document as a subscribing witness, and Carl does not have a financial interest in the document signed by Paul and is not named in the document that was signed by Paul and subscribed by Sue. Then Nancy puts Sue under oath. Under oath, Sue will identify the document signer by swearing or affirming that she personally knows Paul, that Paul is the person described as a party in the document, that Sue watched Paul sign the document or heard Paul acknowledge that Paul signed the document, and that Paul requested Sue to sign the document as the subscribing witness, which Sue did so. Sue signs Nancy Notary Public's journal as a subscribing witness. Carl must sign the Notary Public's journal as a credible witness. Or Nancy the Notary Public must record in the journal that Carl presented the California driver's license, the license number, and the date that the license expires, and all of that information that we talked about earlier as well. Nancy now completes the Notary Public journal's entry. Nancy completes a proof of execution certificate, attaches the proof of execution certificate to the document. Sue then takes the notarized document back to Paul. My suggestion is that since that document is going to probably have an acknowledgement already pre-printed on that form, and the notary was not able to complete the acknowledgement as we've already discussed, that the notary might want to just make an indication or a note to refer to the subscribing witness jurat that's attached. Okay, let's fill out the subscribing witness jurat here. We have the state of California, county of San Bernardino. On April the 9th, 2012, before me, the undersigned, a notary public for the state, personally appeared Sue. Of course, Sue would have a last name here. This is the name of the subscribing witness. Proved to me to be the person whose name is subscribed to the within instrument as a witness thereto, on the oath of Carl. And again, Carl would of course have a last name. Name of credible witness. A credible witness who is known to me and provided a satisfactory identifying document. Sue, being by me duly sworn, said that he or she, and you would circle in this case she, was present and saw or heard Paul, that's the name of the principal, again, be sure you'll be including a last name, is the same person described in and whose name is subscribed to the within or attached instrument in his authorized capacity as a party thereto, execute or acknowledge executing the same, and that said affiant subscribed his or her name to the within or attached instrument as a witness at the request of Paul. Witness my hand and official seal, and of course you'll sign it and put your notary seal. And so that's how you complete a proof of execution, by subscribing witness. Again, you may never complete one, but you'll need to know about this type of notary act just in case. First of all, if it shows up on the exam, or in case you're requested to perform it. It's really not, as like I said, it's not that difficult. Much more difficult to talk about than it is to actually do, probably. Remember that the form is called a subscribing witness jurat, but if a document requires a thumbprint or the oath of the document signer, the subscribing witness cannot be used. Examples of documents which would fall into this category are any affidavit which require an oath or affirmation of the signer, and a power of attorney, quitclaim deed, grant deed, mortgage, deed of trust, security agreement, or any instrument affecting real property. Okay, you've seen that several times before now, so none of those documents would be brand new for you. Whew, that was a lot of information, but we're done with this section. Are you ready to move on to see what happens when someone cannot write their name? Yep, let's take a look.